Welcome to the Inject Creativity Live Show. My name is Rob the Robot from the Adobe Education team. This is a free online show for primary, secondary and post-secondary educators interested in enhancing digital literacy, communication and creativity in the teaching and learning process. Here are your hosts, Dr. Tim Kitchen and Aaron Raithke.
Oh, there we go. My first mistake for the year. Thanks, Rob, and a special welcome to the first episode of Inject Creativity Live for 2022. Welcome, Aaron.
Hi, Tim. Get him out of the way early. And welcome to everyone who's joined us live for this episode being recorded at 6:30 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Savings Time on Wednesday, the 9th of February, 2022 via the Adobe for Education YouTube channel, as well as the Australasian Adobe and Education Facebook group.
We encourage you to say hi in the chat and let us know where you're from and where you teach.
And while you're in the chat sharing a bit about yourselves, we'd like to do an acknowledgement of country.
We respect and honour all Indigenous people from the lands we reach out to during this event. We acknowledge their stories, traditions and living cultures. We acknowledge them as the first educators and the first creatives, and we commit to building a brighter future together.
During this episode, we'll be focusing on the recent launch of Adobe Creative Cloud Express. I'm not sure why we've got the quiz question up there, Jerry, so I'm just going to hide that because we don't really need to see that too much in advance. Some of you might have been able to sneak in.
Somebody might have got some Googling, yeah. So other than researching the quiz question, we will also be enjoying a special demo from Queensland Adobe Education leader Jason Lane.
And our special guest thought leader is none other than the wonderful Chris Betcher from the Google for Education team.
We'll be promoting a number of Adobe-related education resources and professional learning opportunities. And our behind-the-scenes guru, Adobe Senior Customer Success Manager Jerry Wong, will have a special quiz question for us.
Oh, mistake number 3.
You're watching Inject Creativity Live with Tim Kitchen and Aaron Raithke.
Oh, Aaron, let's see who's joined us already in the chat. We've only got one comment. Come on, folks, get into the chat. And it actually happens to be from a brand new Adobe Education leader named Michael West he's from Mudgee. He works for the New South Wales Department for Education. And he's saying, hello, everyone from Mudgee. I'm here as part of the digital support team for New South Wales Department of Education. And he's a brand new AEL, which is...
Welcome to the room, Michael.
And of course, an AEL who's been an AEL for many years now, who's well known to our community, is Juliet Bentley. And she's just letting us know that she's just arrived home. So thank you very much, Juliet. And we've got quite a few other people who are with us at the moment. So feel free to chat, tell us where you're from, especially if you're brand new to this community. We'd love to find out where you're coming from. And of course, if you're watching the recording of this, join us live next time. It's much more fun to be interactive. Now, Aaron.
Yes.
I do believe that you have some very exciting news for us. In fact, I think this deserves to have a bit of a drum roll introduction. So here we go.
Yes, well, I am actually, as some of you will know, especially our regular viewers, my focus has mostly been on adult education and learning. So I'm actually going to be changing my focus towards the middle of this year from adult and adult learning in the TAFE sector to infant and early childhood development.
Well, tell us more, Aaron.
Yes, well, I'd actually rather show you.
All right, show us.
There it is.
There it is. Oh, boy, that deserves a big round of applause and a congratulations. Coming in June 2022.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Aaron and Max.
Yeah,
well done.
it's a lovely bit of news for us to share, obviously, with all of our loved ones and all of our professional colleagues who are also our loved ones in our community across the globe. So we're very, very excited. My husband and I are very, very excited to be welcoming our little girl in June 2022.
Yep, and life will never be the same in a very positive way.
You're watching Inject Creativity Live with Tim Kitchen and Aaron Raithke.
Thanks, Rob. Now let's welcome our good friend and the Inject Creativity Live moderator and techie whiz, Jerry Wong. Hi, Jerry. There he is.
Hi, everyone. Welcome. I'll be looking out for your comments and questions in the chat and posting the most relevant ones.
Oh, Jerry, we might just interrupt you there because something's very special happened to Jerry recently too. Erin, do you want to reveal the news?
Yes, well, we received notification just recently that Jerry has gotten a promotion. Woo! You are now the Senior Customer Success Manager for Adobe ANZ. Well done.
Thanks, Jerry, now tell us the quiz question.
Right, to encourage you guys to use the live chat, I have an Adobe-related quiz question for you. Now, name 2 of the current 13 new quick action options found within the new Adobe Creative Cloud Express.
Oh, great question. So let's see if we look at the comments to see who's going to be the first to respond in the comments. Lots of people congratulating Erin and congratulating Jerry as well. And Juliet's saying it's lovely to see Timothy, and I'm going to take that as me because no, it's not me, it's the other Timothy. That's okay. Let's see who is going to respond. We want 2 of the current 13 new actions. Now, Michael has got 1 of them there, so well done, Michael. That deserves a round of applause as well. There we go. Yep, but only a short round of applause.
And Double Chook has just beat Michael to it by a microsecond with a couple of the features as well, I see.
Well done. Of course, Double Chook is alias for Mark Christie. And let's see if I can quickly find that, which is export to PDF and remove background. So he's covered both of them. Well done, Mark Christie. That deserves a crowd cheer for getting that right. Oh, but only a short one. Now, look at all of the quick actions that you can see there on the screen. They're available through the new Adobe Creative Cloud Express. It's a wonderful new feature. We will be actually exploring some of these as we look into Adobe Creative Cloud Express further into this particular show. And Erin, just out of interest, have you tried out any of these new shortcuts yet yourself?
Yes, well, I have been playing with things like remove background ever since they were in beta, so I'm really glad to see them front and center. And I'm especially excited about the reverse video feature, because what I was doing when I was creating little animated MP4s through formerly known as Spark Post is I would download my little project that was, a couple of seconds long, pull it into and download the actual MP4 and pull it into Rush, or use the alternate animation to get it to do the opposite of what it did, and then I'd knit the 2 videos together in Rush and then export it again. So this is fantastic.
Well, we'll soon be demoing some of these features very shortly.
We hope you're enjoying this episode of Inject Creativity Live with Tim Kitchen and Erin Rathke.
Thanks, Rob. Now let's meet our guests for this episode and welcome Adobe Education Leader Jason Lane and Adobe Education Leader Emeritus Chris Better to the stage.
And Jason, welcome back to the show. For those who haven't met you before, tell us about your teaching role at Villanova College in Brisbane.
Thanks, Erin. Good evening, everyone. It's great to be on the first episode. So I'm the e-learning pedagogy leader at Villanova College. We are a growing college. There's nearly 1,400 students in my school now, and they're all boys from ages 10 through to 18. So it's a very busy place. Technology plays a large role, and I love being at the center of that with VR, augmented reality, lots of tools, lots of products, and Adobe's right in the middle of that whole ecosystem that we offer the students.
And you're back face-to-face teaching again.
Yes. I said just before the show, it's so great to be back in the classroom again. However, you don't have a mute button in the classroom, and that was one of the benefits of being online. There weren't many benefits to online teaching, but yeah, I can't mute my students now. I've got to ask them to be quiet.
Thanks, Chris. Now, that's Jason. Now, Chris, it's always a delight to have you on the show. For those who haven't met you before, which I'm sure is hardly anybody at all, tell us about your role at Google.
Oh, thanks, Tim. You always say the nicest things. Hi, everybody. My name is Chris Betcher. I, as well as being an AEL emeritus, it's like AEL. I don't know how you describe that, Tim. This old guy. Someone who's been around for a while. I used to be a teacher for many years, taught with lots and lots of Adobe stuff for many years. But currently, I am the program manager for Google Workspace for Education with the Google team based in Sydney. So I haven't defected. I still find we play nicely. Look, I have the drink bottles to prove it. Right? So we play nicely. So I love still being part of the Adobe family.
Lovely. Thanks, Chris. So, Erin, you want to introduce Jason again?
Yes, so we were actually wondering, Jason, could you share something with us interesting about yourself that not many people would know?
Yes, so you would have to know me. I've been, teaching in the same school for a long time, so everyone at my school knows this. But in just over a week, I'm going to be hitting half a century. So I'm about to turn 50.
Wow.
So, yeah, there you go.
Congratulations.
Education keeps you young.
You don't look a day over 49, Jason.
No, it's from teaching indoors. I've been teaching in an art room for 2 decades. I've never spent more than half a day in the sun.
Yeah, an ounce of prevention is better than a ton of cure, isn't that the thing?
And Chris, how about you? What's something interesting about yourself that not many people would know?
Oh gosh, Tim, there's so much about me that people don't know. If I pick one of them, I started learning a language a while back, and I chose a language that hardly anyone actually speaks. And I'm teaching myself Esperanto, which is a constructed language that doesn't really belong to any particular country, but is spoken everywhere, belongs to everyone, but belongs to no one. So it's fascinating.
Well, give us a greeting, an Esperanto greeting.
Saluton al ciu, kiel vi fartas?
You didn't just swear.
Everyone, how are you?
Oh, good. Erin.
And Jason, tell us about what you'll be sharing with us in this particular episode tonight.
Well, yeah, it's very exciting and fortunate timing with Adobe Express kind of hitting our browsers recently. I'm going to be showing just some ways to kind of make yourself look better as a teacher. So a lot of us use other products like Google, Classroom, and also Microsoft Teams and OneNote. And so instead of just relying on text and tables, I'm going to show some of the ways that you can, pimp up your content and make it look fantastic and engage students that way through using, some great templates that are in Express, and how to get them from one platform into another.
Terrific. And Chris, as our thought leader tonight, what will you be sharing?
Before I do that, Tim, I got to say, it makes me thrilled to hear anyone from Brisbane tell me that they use Google Tools. Anyone from Queensland. So that's very exciting. I'll be talking about just an idea that I had. I've called it Some Wheels Need Reinventing. And I just want to chat to you a little bit and tell you a little story about things that happen inside Google that you might be able to actually apply in your classroom.
Lovely. Well, thanks, Jason and Chris. We're looking forward to hearing from both of you very soon.
We hope you're enjoying this episode of Inject Creativity Live with Tim Kitchen and Erin Rathke.
Well, let's find out a bit more about this new Adobe Creative Cloud Express.
Now, Tim put together this video to help launch Adobe Creative Cloud Express in December.
Have you heard the news? Adobe has launched Adobe Creative Cloud Express, a set of low-lift web and mobile tools that make it easy for anyone to creatively express themselves. Adobe Creative Cloud Express makes it possible for everyone, independent of skill level and confidence, to creatively communicate and collaborate. Next time you open what was Adobe Spark on a browser, you will notice the difference. What was the free version of Adobe Spark is now the free version of Adobe Creative Cloud Express, with the added bonus of some extra editing features for images and videos, such as resizing an image, removing an image background, converting to JPEG or PNG, trimming a video, resizing and cropping a video, merging videos, changing video speed, and reversing video content. But wait, there's more, especially if you're a primary or secondary school student or teacher. Adobe Creative Cloud Express for Education is free for all K-12 schools and has even more features. The new Adobe Creative Cloud Express for Education includes the well-known classic features from Adobe Spark on the browser, plus mobile apps including Adobe Premiere Rush for powerful video editing on the go, Adobe Photoshop Express for powerful image manipulation, the popular Adobe Spark Video for simple video stories, and Adobe Spark Page for publishing web content. It gives students and educators everything they need to confidently create standout graphics, photos, presentations, web pages, and video stories to express themselves in unique and beautiful ways, both inside and outside the classroom in any subject area. Adobe Creative Cloud Express for Education also offers safe search functionality. Education-specific privacy controls can be deployed in a way that allows schools to meet student privacy obligations. The ability to set up single sign-on so students can easily log in with their existing school ID. Thousands of premium creative assets and student-friendly Adobe stock images are also included. With Adobe Creative Cloud Express for Education, schools own the accounts and exercise admin rights over them. And it's all totally free of charge for K-12 schools. If your school is already working with Adobe Spark, then there's nothing else that needs to be done for the change to Adobe Creative Cloud Express to occur. It has now changed, and you are now working with the new system. If your school is yet to be set up with free access, then go to www.adobe.com/education/express to learn how IT admins can set up accounts for individual schools and districts. Teachers, look up edx.adobe.com express to find lots of great new resources to help you teach with Adobe Creative Cloud Express on the Adobe Education Exchange. Get to know Adobe Creative Cloud Express. It's a great way to be introduced to the full Adobe Creative Cloud, where there is no limit to your creativity. And with Adobe Creative Cloud Express for Education, all K-12 students and teachers get free access to some very powerful creativity tools. Keep being creative.
Well, let's have a look at it. So what I'm going to do, Erin, is I'm going to share my screen, and I'm in a Google browser, probably the most popular browser used. Chris would be hearing that and smiling at the moment, by schools all over the world. And I'm just going to jump in and quickly go into the Creative Cloud Express link. So it's express.adobe.com. And if you went into the old spark.adobe.com, it would still come into this same area.
The redirect's very clean. It's completely flawless. So any old links you've got, don't panic.
And what we encourage all schools to do is, and universities as well, to go into log in with your school account. And if that doesn't work, you need to have a chat with your IT administrators and ask them, why aren't we getting access? Because that's the way that anyone under 13 can get access without having to lie about their age. Because if you log in with Google, Facebook, Apple, or an Adobe ID, you do need to be 13 or over. Mm-hmm. So it's much better to go through your school federated ID system, where all the personal information gets kept within the school system, rather than going out to one of these other big vendors here. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to log in with my school account, which is the same as logging in with a company account. I'm just putting in my email address, and I've got two accounts. So I'm going to go into my company or school account, and I've got one extra thing I have to do here, Erin. I don't know if you have to do this, but I have to go through a second layer of authentication every time.
Multi-factor authentication is the way of the future to protect our digital identities, Tim.
It's annoying, but it's important. So I'm just doing that now on my phone. It's just verifying who I am. And any second now, I will be in the new Adobe Creative Cloud Express. It's now logging in. It's got the new logo. And you'll know that you're in via the browser when you see that wonderful purple circle on the top left-hand corner. I'm just going to emphasize that. So I'm going to bring up my little screen pointer so you can see that little purple circle. That when you click on it, it then brings up all the things that you can start building and creating. There's all the quick actions, the shortcuts we talked about earlier. And here are all the main things. Creating graphics, custom size your graphic. And Erin's going to be showing us how to create one with a template in a couple of seconds. Social media, grabbing an Instagram post or a Facebook post
doing a logo, a flyer, a collage, a card, a web page, or a simple video story. All of the wonderful features that were in Adobe Spark are now Creative Cloud Express, plus all these other quick actions. And of course, if you've got Creative Cloud Express for Education as a K-12 school, you also get Premiere Rush, which is a much more sophisticated video editing tool, and Photoshop Express. So it's a wonderful bundle that you should take advantage of if you're a K-12 school. I'm going to do a quick action. I'm going to do a remove background. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on where it says remove background, and it brings up a little, what would you call this? It's a little window, I guess. It says drag and drop an image or browse on your device. I'm going to browse on my device because I've got an image already prepared on my desktop. And Erin, you probably recognize this image. You're on mute, Erin, so we're not hearing that.
No, I was about to say, that's a bit of a challenge, Tim, because my background has not only changed a little bit, you can see I've got all my books now in my office. But that's amazing considering how much stuff is in the background of my office for it to actually identify me and cut me out. It's even done a good job on my Princess Leia here.
Exactly right. And that just shows you the power of these quick shortcuts. It's using the power of Photoshop without needing to know Photoshop, or the power of Photoshop Express without really needing to go into the app to do those very simple actions that are so important to work with. And now I can just quickly download or customize and download that image and save it in whatever format I want to save.
It's probably really important to note as well, especially with the background remover tool. They've had that in beta for a while, and if you do go in to customize it, it actually has introduced leveraging the Photoshop capabilities in the browser, the ability to tidy up the edges of images that you're cutting out. So like the AI does a great job of figuring out the borders of where I am. But if Tim was to go in there and do a further demonstration, we could spend all day on it. He could actually go in and not just add, but also subtract the edges of me to make me nice, crisp, clean. And it even allows you to change the size of your cursor so that you can get into really fine or just do large swaths of detail, which is great.
Amazing. Now, Erin, I'll get you to share your screen now so that you can show us how to quickly start a poster with a template, because that would be very practical. In fact,
Don't worry. So as you can see, I've got mine open. We've got all the quick actions that are scrolling across there that Tim just took you through, and my browser disappeared. That was interesting. Okie dokie. So when we scroll down a little bit further, you can see it says it has the option to start from some popular templates. Now, did we want to go through one of these templates, Tim, or did we want to actually create a custom sized graphic and then add templates in there?
Got a custom sized graphic, and I want you to choose a baby theme because that is so appropriate at the moment. Your baby is tiny.
What I'm going to do, what I usually do, this is my habit, is I click that little plus icon to expand out this menu, and I click on create custom size graphic here, which as you can see is one of the more popular options. And then as that opens, you'll see that it custom dumps me out to this 2560 by 2560 pixels. But if, say, for instance, I want to create a quick and easy poster for my class project, I could click on the print option in the quick access menu. And as you can see here, for our American friends, we have letter. We also have poster, card, A5, A4, and A3. So if I wanted to create a quick A4 flyer, all I have to do is select that, and then select the next button once that is highlighted to open up my new project. Now, the templates are not just at the top level of Adobe Creative Cloud Express. Don't say Spark, don't say Spark. Now, when we go in, you'll see the first option that is highlighted on our left-hand side menu is the templates option. And you will see they are themed, constantly changing, but are also searchable for you. So we've got some New Year's for the Year of the Tiger. We've got some great favorites for flyers, menus, posters, worksheets, and these are populated completely depending on the quick start custom template that you choose. So if you were to select something of a completely different geography, I guess, as far as your canvas goes, these options would change here for you. Now, if we were to take Tim's suggestion of baby-related templates, we can just type the word in baby to the template search and see what is available. And we have some lovely little announcements, looks like some little invites. And that one looks pretty appropriate for my specific circumstances at the moment. So as you can see, it's preloaded a bunch of assets in there with me. And if I click on those, you can see on the on the right-hand side, the layers of an icon, which is the little booties, very cute. You can also expand out these layers to access the text that's available on this project, as well as the image. And if we change that image a little bit, you can see they've cleverly even created a border effect by placing the background layer slightly off the sides of the actual canvas. So that's really clever as well.
Now, Erin, we haven't got time to go into any more details, but I can hear a question, and I'm surprised it hasn't already come up in the chat. How can we find out more about how to use these products and teach our students? Well, I'm so glad you asked that question. Jerry, I'm going to get you to share your slide at the moment because we've got a brand new resource for you. It's called Get to Know Adobe Creative Cloud Express. Jerry, I'm not sure if you've set up a banner for this, but would you mind doing that now? Because I want you to show this banner while we go into this resource. I should have told you that earlier, but adobe.ly/express/APAC is the link to this incredible resource. So while Jerry's setting up the banner, I'm going to share my screen and jump in to this actual resource. So this is what it looks like live. And as we scroll through it, it first has that video that we played earlier, so you can share that with your students and your staff. It has the official global Adobe video as well, so you can, if you prefer that one, you know, there's that one as well. And then we've got a content section with an introduction. What is Adobe Creative Cloud Express? Is Adobe Creative Cloud Express free? And all of those sort of main questions that you might have, you click on and find out the answers. Then there's a getting started, how to log in, how to manage your projects, how to create graphics, how to start with a template like Erin was showing you. If I just click any one of these, like adding and manipulating text to a graphic, if I click on that now, it'll take me straight to a video tutorial. I'll quickly start playing this one so you get a sense of what these look like. Right, let's work out how to add and manipulate text within a graphic using Adobe Creative Cloud. And if I just skip forward, you can see it's a video tutorial on how to do that particular task. But if you prefer to have a PDF in my text box, stop there, I don't want to hear myself twice.
Yeah,
there's a PDF. I could click on that PDF button and it'll bring up a user documentation that gives you a step-by-step guide on how to do exactly that step. You could print it out and put it in your classroom. You could have that as a quick reference guide for yourself. We're trying to keep this as simple as possible, plus a QR code there that will take you directly to that same video in case that's the way you prefer to learn. So all of those options are available for you. The resource isn't totally finished. In fact, it probably won't ever be totally finished because we're just going to keep adding to it as new things come up. And
it'll be like painting a bridge, won't it, Tim? By the time we think we were done, there will be new features or enhanced features that need updating. So I really look forward to continuing to work on these with you.
Well, you've been fantastic. Just in the last month, you've been proofing it for me and finding all sorts of interesting typos. So thank you for that. We've been trying to fix those up, but it's an amazing resource. And we've already had nearly 3,000 teachers look at the resource already without even really advertising it. So it's just giving you a sense of how amazing it will be. Terrific. All right, we're about to hear from our AEL.
Hi folks, we are about to be inspired by an AEL, an Adobe Education leader. AELs are passionate about the use of Adobe tools to inspire creative learning and teaching experiences in the delivery of either primary, secondary or post-secondary curricula. The first step to becoming an AEL is to be an ACE, an Adobe Creative Educator, via edx.adobe.com/adobe-creative-educator. You don't have to be an Adobe expert to be an ACE, just a teacher interested in engaging students through creative digital learning experiences. The ACE program is a free international micro-credentialing program. It only takes a few hours to earn your Level 1 badge, and the focus is on creativity rather than Adobe. Please share this program with your colleagues and get involved. Who knows, you may one day also become an Adobe education leader.
And it's a delight to have Adobe Education Leader Jason Lane on the show to present to you. Over to you, Jason.
Thanks, Tim, and good evening, everyone, wherever you are watching. I'm quite excited to show you what I've been working on recently. And I guess what I'm talking about tonight and what I'm going to show you is how you can, in some ways, create your brand as a teacher. So students are very good at comparing teachers to teachers in schools, but there's some great ways that you can use the new Express platform to create some content and to share it through whatever kind of school architecture you've got in terms of whether it be Microsoft Teams or Google Classroom. I'll try not to get too Microsofty in the next part of this segment, at the same time, I'm going to acknowledge the fact that, you know, most of the teachers that I work with tend to spend a lot of their time working with OneNote and in Teams at this point in time. And what I'm going to be showing you tonight is just some ways that you can create some really unique content and use it in those platforms that you're using every day with your students, whether they're in front of you or in a hybrid space, or, you know, if they're working from home. So I will start to share my screen, and I'm going to, in doing this, kind of take you through some of my recent projects. So at the moment, are we looking at my recent work in Express?
Looking good, mate. Keep going. It's great.
Fantastic. Okay, so I'll pick up the pace here. So this is some of my recent work. So as I said, I'm the e-learning pedagogy leader. And so what I've been doing is actually using Express in the holidays to create save the date webinars for our school BYOD Facebook group. And so that's been a good way to kind of connect with parents. And what's really interesting is when I create these posts in Express, and I share them, I get much more engagement. I get more likes and it gets shared more because, you know, as you know, if you've got a Facebook page, you tend to kind of see what's engaging and what's not. And if I take the time, and when I say take the time, I'm really saying about 15 to 20 minutes, to be honest. If I take the time to create save the date flyers and just some of these kind of social media graphics in Express, I find that without a doubt, they are always the ones that are the most engaging. They're the ones that get the most likes. They're the ones that get the most forward sharing, and I need that because I'm trying to connect with parents that are at home. It's school holidays, they haven't come back to school yet, and so on. So I'd encourage you to do the same. And what's really good now is that I've kind of got a template going, so I can simply go into here and I can duplicate these, and in doing that I'm also kind of creating another brand, you could say, through duplicating some post templates that I've come up with in Express. That way, when they pop up in parents' Facebook feeds, they know who it's from. They know that it's an update about BYOD devices at the college and so on. So that's something that I've just recently been working with over the holidays. And I'm convinced that it's a great way to engage people through social media. So much more than just using text in a colored background, which anyone can do. And I guess what's good about this as well is that I know how little time it took to get things up to this standard, but others think it's been done by a professional designer, if only they knew. Now, what I've also started doing, I'm just going to open this project. I've tried to rethink how I engage my students. Sorry, I'll just get out of this. I've been working on different laptops and with fonts that I've been uploading. So I will jump into my downloaded version of that. It may look a little bit different. What I've been doing is working with a class code, and when I say a class code, it's simply my way of engaging students and trying to get them to work with me, but in much more of a kind of a pleasant manner rather than saying class rules. And so this is something that I've used right across my middle school teaching, and it's something that was developed, as you can see, using Adobe Creative Cloud Express. And so the reason why it didn't load is because I've actually uploaded these two fonts here. These are two of our corporate fonts. And so you can upload fonts to the Edge platform. And what I'm doing there is I'm trying to create my brand so that it's consistent with our college brand, where we use 3 specific fonts. And so what I've been able to do here is to kind of extend, express myself by uploading college fonts and kind of keeping the college branding alive. But as you can see here, this looks so much better than simply working with text on a page, which is what our students would be used to doing. But when I show them this, it's a real welcome to my class, and the students engage with it so much more. So that's an example also of what I've been creating in this space recently.
Jason, I'm just going to interrupt for a sec. There's a little button right down the bottom center that says hide. Could you press that hide button? And that'll, yeah, now we can see everything. That's great. Keep going. That's good.
Excellent. Thank you very much. So this has been a real hit for me, and it's something that I've spent a bit of time trying to finesse and make it look better, just so that I'm kind of presenting myself in my best light the first time the students meet me as their classroom teacher. I also teach design and visual art, so I need to kind of, bring my A game when I'm meeting students. If I'm expecting them to design work that has a certain standard, then I would think that they would expect no less from me to do exactly the same. So this has been a real joy for me to create, and I've now got posters of this around my classroom, and it's just a nice reminder. It's a nice way to, I suppose, share my brand with the students. So that's one thing that I've done recently. I will jump back into Creative Cloud here, and as you can see, I've got a couple of things ready to go. So these are all projects that I've done before, and as Erin and Tim was saying before, I'm not going to necessarily talk about how we create these, because their documentation and that website looks absolutely phenomenal, and there's nothing you won't find there. I'm very personally warmed to know that there's PDFs, because I like videos are good, but I also like something tangible. I like putting documents in front of students and teachers, and so those PDF takeaways are going to be a real great thing that I can use and rely on as teachers get up to speed and students using the new platform this year. But what I've got here is a range of different options here. You have seen my class code, and I've explained to you why it didn't load. It's because I'm using custom fonts that I uploaded. So something that you can do, but just something to just be aware of as you go from laptop to laptop. These here are some great examples of different graphics that I've created, and I'll now show you different ways that you can embed them and bring them into the spaces where you are creating your teaching and learning environment every day. So here we've got a post. Here we've got this is a video, and so this is me explaining how you can do augmented reality where we put Minecraft and Adobe Aero together. Maybe you've seen me present about that in the past. This here is an Esports highlight web page, so it's just simply a bunch of pictures I've drawn together, something that you can kind of slide and scroll your way through. Weekly planner, this is my personal favorite for the moment, and it's something that I'm really engaged with. And the last one is how to do some banners. So I'm now going to jump into OneNote, and yes, it's something that many teachers would be familiar with. And what I've got here is, I suppose, how many teachers, I shouldn't say many, but how most teachers that I work with in humanities subjects, how they kind of present their content. There's nothing wrong with this, but is this really kind of, I suppose, making you a brand? Is it distinguishing you? Is it making your content as engaging as it can be? I would argue not. And so just as a personal example, to throw myself under the bus, this is an example of me just on the run, creating a page of content. It's a subject that was based on students finding real world problems and trying to solve them. And so this is me giving an example here, saying, here's a template. You need to fill in all the highlighted sections. And so nothing wrong with that, but it doesn't really engage students, and it's certainly not me putting my best face forward. this is the same thing. And so if I just zoom in on it, this here is a post. So obviously it was created from a template. I didn't spend a lot of time choosing anything other than the colors here and changing the text. And so this project was where students had to choose a space in the school, and they had to identify an audience, who are the readers, where they're reading, and why they might not enjoy reading in that space. And so this became a topic that the students went on to create a virtual solution for. It's much the same thing. It's just done differently. And by simply bringing in a picture from the Platform Express and making a few local changes to how that's laid out on a OneNote page, students can click and type where I've got my cues, and then suddenly they're engaged in a much more rich example of content. So this is inserting a post. And if you're not sure how to do it, in the top right hand corner, if we go into one here, so I won't bring any of these up for now. I'll just stick with ones that I've already done. Actually, no, I'll quickly go into here since we've got time. So I'm just going to edit this project. This is again from that same subject, and this will be a good example. So I'm happy I chose this one. On the top right hand corner, you can see that there's a download button. And when you hit the download button, you've got three options. PNG, which allows you to drop in if you wanted to a transparent background. JPEG, which of course won't. And PDF, which is great for printing and giving physical copies around your classroom. In the case here, I'm just going to go with PNG so you can see that we do have one more option, and that is the ability to drop in the solid color, which is that background color you can see. So I'm going to hit that now, and it will process, it will download to my laptop. As you can see here, I'm using, I think this is the Edge browser. Yes, it is. And so now I'm going to jump into over here, back into my OneNote page, and I'm going to drop in that picture here. So how do we do that? Pretty straightforward. There's 15 ways you could do it, but I'll go through the top menus, inserting a picture from the file. I'm going from my downloads. Here it is. Once it's on the page, you can resize it or not. It's entirely up to you. But if a student was to try to click and type on top of that, they can't. And so what I tend to do here, if I just get rid of that junk under there, is I right click on the picture and I set it as a background. And what that means is I can now get rid of the text box that was temporarily created when the picture came in. We get rid of that. And now I can freely click anywhere in the document and I can say, type your response here. If I wanted to, I could even, create a table and drop it in that way so that there's a bit more structure around it. Okay. If you hold down the Alt key, you can move these boxes anywhere around a OneNote page. And I won't get into OneNote any further than that, just to say that this was a Spark graphic. And this is better than simply giving students, if I click over here, a table and you say empathize, answer here. Nothing wrong with that. But at the same time, this isn't as engaging, especially in a subject like design or design thinking, where I'm trying to encourage creativity. Best way to do that is with creative content yourself. So that's the first example here. Now, if I go into embedding a page, pages are different because they are interactive. And so you don't have as many options, but it's a good way to kind of put something in the space where perhaps you've designed a whole lesson. But ideally, I'm still encouraging students to click and to kind of go to the website to see the content in its entirety. So I've got a demo here as well. I'll go back to my home, jump into my projects, and here's my esports highlights. So I'll quickly open this one up. So this only has a couple of pictures, doesn't take too long. And this was a bit of an esports cup that I ran in our school last year. Here I can go share, publish and share the link, copy. And what I'm going to do here is simply dump it on the OneNote page. And sometimes over time you get a thumbnail underneath here, so you can kind of preview the content, and then it says click here to go elsewhere. But what you can also do is you can drop it into Teams or Google Classroom. So Chris, I know you're online, so I'm going to do my very best to create an even-sided presentation here. But since I've only got Teams activated for myself, I'm going to click this button and I'm going to share it straight to Teams. So what you can do here is once you start typing in, I'm going to share to 2022 pilot, you'll start to see some matches and even channels if they've had enough time to populate. And when I hit the share button, we get our little confirmation screen that'll come up now. I'll just close that, jump back into Teams. Now this was shared to the general channel and it's already there. So if I wanted to, I could then go in and edit the message or just let students click on it. What's it going to do? It's going to open the browser, as we know, and here's where the content becomes interactive, as you can see. So that's another way that we can kind of take stuff from Express and put it into the spaces where we're teaching every day. I'll just jump out of here as well and show you something that I've just recently experimented with. So I'll go back into Teams. Yes, we can add in links and things like that, but one of the most fun ways that I've been working with Express content recently is in the whiteboards. So what's a whiteboard? It's simply a space where you can import pictures, whether they come from things that you're downloading from Edge, or whether they're from Express, or whether they're things, pages from PDF content, Adobe Acrobat, and so forth. And so what I'm doing here is I'm actually dropping in content and I'm creating post-it notes over the top. And if you want to, you can make these collaborative with your students. You can make it so that students can edit, or you can just lock it so that you can use this as a teaching device in your classroom. So over here, I've got a blank whiteboard. And if I go into images, I don't have any PDFs, but if I did, I could go into documents. So images, here I'm going to drop in that same driving question. Actually, no, I'm going to drop in this first one. Goes right into the middle of our whiteboard. Now these notes are great because they've got containers around them. And if you don't want to mess with your design, you can stick with a nice neutral color like this light gray note. So I've clicked on that from the insert menu, scale him down a little bit, and now I can, type text in here. They've got these great little containers. You can scale them up, you can move them around, do whatever you want. And this is all based on top of an Express post template. That's something that I'm quite excited about using more, because then I can have my content underneath that and I can put reactions and all sorts of other things on top, like, marking it up with all these different things to capture student feedback. How am I going for time, Tim?
Well, you're just about out, Jason. It's been really inspiring. Is there a last thing you want to share with us?
The only thing that I would share on top of this is just that the fact that you are working with images and links, and they all embed nicely in whatever platform you're working with, whether it's Google Classroom or Microsoft Teams or OneNote or all three, as some schools do. And as long as you are creating response spaces, then there's lots of ways that you can use tables, or in this case, notes, to allow students to kind of type and respond in these areas. And the end goal is just to, I suppose, give yourself a bit of a brand in the classroom and to use a tool that can do that very quickly and effectively over time.
Jason, it's been really inspiring. Thank you so much for your presentation. I love the fact that we are so well integrated with the Microsoft environment, but also the Google environment as well. And it's just wonderful to see that no matter what you choose at your school, or all three, that our tools can really integrate nicely with all of them. So Jason, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
You're watching Inject Creativity Live with Tim Kitchen and Aaron Raithke.
Let's bring Aaron up. There we go. Adobe Education Leaders are part of the highest level of Adobe's education community programs. And in the case of Jason, he's not only an Adobe Education Leader, he's also a Microsoft Innovative Educator. So he's part of both of those amazing networks. It's a very exclusive program with only about 64 teachers, although as of this week, 65. Hello, Michael West. Thank you for joining that team. It's been an interesting process getting you through into officially becoming an AEL this week, which is wonderful. And we now have about 65 teachers who qualify in the Australasian region.
So Adobe Education leaders are active members of the Adobe Education Exchange and are very passionate about using Adobe applications to enhance digital literacy, communication, and creativity skills in schools and universities.
They regularly share this passion with a network of educators wider than their own school or faculty and help support the work of the Adobe and Education teams around the globe.
If you are interested in becoming an AEL, the first step is to do the Adobe Creative Educator program and get your ACE Level 1 and 2 badges via adobe.ly/ACE.
If you'd like to be guided through Level 1 of the ACE program, Erin and I are running the next Be a Creative Educator course on Monday, the 21st of February at 4 o'clock till 6:30 Australian Eastern Daylight Time. So look up adobe.ly/creative educator for more information and share this site with your colleagues and wider education networks.
Of course, if you look up adobe.ly/ACE, you don't have to wait until the 21st of November to become an Adobe Creative Educator. You can do the Creativity for All course on the Adobe Education Exchange at any time on demand.
The Creativity for All course is one of many great on-demand courses on the Adobe Education Exchange. Other popular courses at the moment include Teach Creativity with Adobe and Khan Academy, Preparing Students with Essential Creative Skills course, Engaging Video Projects in the Classroom course, and the very popular Adobe Acrobat for Teaching and Learning course. And of course, the new Adobe Creative Cloud Express in the Classroom course.
Tim, can you please remind us how to access these amazing on-demand courses?
All right, let's do that. So I'm going to just share my screen, and there's the PDF we had open before. I'm just going to open up a new window and jump straight into the Adobe Education Exchange, edx.adobe.com. And I don't even have to sign in at this point. We can already have a great look at what is available to us by going, rather than going to teaching resources, which is what opens up straight away, and there's some fabulous teaching resources. In this case, we're looking at professional learning courses. So if we jump up to the tabs at the top, we're moving from teaching resources to professional learning, the professional learning section. And then on the right-hand side, I always like going to this little button here, View All Self-Paced Courses. And when you do click on that button, you can then start looking at all the different topics and thoughts, and you can get an idea of how many teachers have done the course and how long the course goes, and click into it and then find out some more information about it as you click into it. So let me encourage you to have a look at those courses and encourage your colleagues to also have a look at them as well. We are about to hear from our thought leader.
Hi folks, well it's now time to welcome our education thought leader for their 5-minute gem to inspire us and make us think more deeply about the importance of our role as educators.
It is a delight to welcome our education thought leader for this episode, Adobe Education Leader Emeritus, Chris Betcher, to the stage. Over to you, Chris.
Thank you, Tim. Thanks, Aaron. Hi, everyone. Good to join you again today. Tim, would you mind sharing my screen? There you go. I just had some thoughts recently, and I've just summed it up with this sentence: some wheels need reinventing. So I just want to just run a couple of ideas by you, I guess. I've worked in education a long time. If you've worked in education a long time too, there's no doubt you've heard people say this: don't reinvent the wheel. Like, you know, you get to the end of a school year and something needs doing, and it's like, well, we did that last year. Don't reinvent the wheel. Or, you know, someone else has already done that. Just use theirs. Like, don't reinvent the wheel. We hear this phrase all the time, right? So it got me thinking about reinventing wheels and why I hear that so much more in education than anywhere else. And I guess because if you stop and think about it, now that I'm not in a school all the time, I really notice how cyclical education is, like a wheel. And I realize that getting things to change in a school sometimes takes a long time. And I got thinking about why that is. And I suspect part of the reason is because the school year is cyclical, that when you do something in a school year, you tend to not iterate it on it immediately. You tend to maybe do something and then you don't have to redo that again until the next year. And whether that's like how you organize your school swimming carnival, or how you run an exam program for year 11, or whatever it might be, there's a good chance that you do it one time and you know you have to do it again, but it's not until the next school year. And so 12 months go by until you actually have to do it again. And I think part of that slow cycle of not needing to iterate on something immediately tends to create slow change within schools. I think there's other factors as well, things like the fact that, most parents think they know how school should work because they went to one time. And so, there's always a little bit of inertia with, parents maybe not being so receptive to new ideas. Whatever it might be, I have noticed that sometimes there are wheels in school that probably should be reinvented, but don't get reinvented because the cycle of innovation is long in education. And look, the truth is some wheels need reinventing. There are a lot of things we do that we probably should stop and think, is there a better way to do this? Should we be rethinking about some of the processes that we kind of take for granted all the time? So I'm just going to tell you a quick story about life at Google. I don't know if you've ever visited a Google office, but we have these amazing things called micro kitchens. And they're pretty cool. When you go into a Google office, these things are, well, I work in the Sydney office and we've got one on every floor in all of our buildings. So you are never more than about, 200 meters from food, right? If you're hungry, you just go and get some food. So at Google, all the snacks in the micro kitchens are free. All the drinks are free. If you want something, you just go and get it. Now, you might think, well, that's a pretty cool idea. Surely you just stock up, right? Well, you're not supposed to take stuff home. You're supposed to eat it there. But the thing is, what they found was that by making food free for everyone at Google, there was this kind of problem that emerged, and that is people would tend to binge snack on things that weren't necessarily good for them because they were there, right? And so people would, maybe drink a soft drink or have a chocolate bar or do something that it wasn't necessarily good for them, but it was there and it was easy, so they kind of did it. So Google had to think about this. How do we encourage people how do we reinvent this wheel, right? We don't want to take things away from people. Why is my camera not focusing? There you go. We don't want to take things away from people, but we want them to think about better choices. And so what they did, if you walk into a micro kitchen at Google now, after we've done all this research about how this works, making one simple change, and if there's a message you take away from my talk today, it is that making one simple change, the right change, can make a massive difference to reinventing one of these wheels. So have a look at this picture of a micro kitchen in Google. Think about it. If you look at this area up here, the one I've just outlined in green, all the things on those top shelves, the ones that are at eye level, the ones that are easy to reach for, are healthy things. There's things like grain snacks and fruit and, the relatively healthy stuff, mainly fruit and veggies and grain snacks. But if you look further down where you've got to bend down to see it, it's all the unhealthier or less healthy stuff. So things like packets of chips and I don't know if you can see these containers, those little silver containers there on the left. They have sort of candies and chocolate bars and snacks and like the less healthy stuff hidden from sight. By putting things at eye level that are easy to find and putting things that are less good for you lower down, it changes your relationship with the food. Same thing over on the drinks fridge. If you look in the top half of that drinks fridge, the water, the flavored tea, the things that are either good for you or not too bad for you are visible through the glass. The things down the bottom, highlighted down the bottom, they're the things that are the less healthy, the soft drinks and the sugary drinks and so on. We don't take them away. We just change the way people interact with them. One small change to reinvent this wheel. Now, that's an example of if you want a chocolate bar, if you want a Tim Tam. You can bend down and open a drawer and get one. That's fine. But there's a level of, first of all, it's out of sight. And second of all, you've got to bend down to do it. So you've really got to want it. And what we found from doing this research, and this is the fascinating part, right? Have a look at the kitchen there, right? The change we made at Google in terms of our micro kitchens was we put all the healthy stuff, the stuff that's good for you, or at least not bad for you, on display, easy to get, and the stuff that's not good for you, we put out of sight, lower down, where it's marginally harder to get to. Now, here's the fascinating thing. When we tested this idea in the New York office of Google, so one office, right? We got offices all over the world. One office of Google, we tested this over a 7-week period, and we measured basically, what was getting eaten and what wasn't compared to before and after we made this change. Turns out that by making this simple change of simply moving where the snacks are, not removing them, people consumed 3.1 million fewer calories in the 7-week test period. Let that sink in. 3.1 million fewer calories over 7 weeks without taking anything away, simply by changing how people interact with it. So my question to you then, as you start your 2022 school year, and we're in I don't know, week 2 or 3 or whatever it is, depending on where you are in the country, as you start your 2022 school year, this is another exercise we sometimes do inside Google when we're thinking about things. What are the things you're going to stop doing? Okay. What are the things you always do every year and you kind of don't even think about it anymore? You just you've never reinvented that wheel. What are the things you could stop doing that would make a difference to the way your classes operate? What are the things you could start doing, things you've never done before that you'd like to try? Maybe more project-based learning, maybe changing the way you give homework, maybe changing whether you give homework at all, maybe changing the way you do your seating plan in the classroom, whatever it might be. What could you start to try that you've never done before? And finally, what could you continue doing? What actually is working really well that you could continue? That you continue not simply because that's the way you've always done it and you haven't thought about it, but stop and think about it, and after having thought about it, acknowledge that, yeah, this is working and we should keep doing that. So what will you stop doing? What will you start doing? And what will you continue doing in 2022 so that you reinvent the right wheels and you don't just sort of, do things for the sake of always doing it? Now, my challenge to you, the final thing is, once you've given that some thought, what will you start doing? What will you stop doing? What will you continue doing? I want you to go to Adobe Creative Cloud Express, and I want you to go to the little poster template-y button thing that we showed you before, and I want you to make yourself a poster for your classroom. So I just made this last night as I was thinking about this. I might, as a teacher, think, you know what? I don't do enough project-based learning. I don't do enough things where the learning is more of an adventure than simply sort of telling kids what to do. So my commitment is to make learning more of an adventure for my kids this year. So make a poster, print it out, put it in your classroom, and remind yourself every time you walk in there that this is one of the things you're going to start doing, stop doing, or continue doing. Back to you, Tim.
Good on you, Chris. So inspiring. Well done. Thank you so much for your time.
We hope you're enjoying this episode of Inject Creativity Live with Tim Kitchen and Erin Rathke.
Well, next Wednesday and Thursday, we recommence the Adobe Teach Meets program.
Tim has put together this special promotion video. Let's check it out.
Adobe Teach Meets program is a set of free and online creative professional learning opportunities for teachers in any subject area and any level who have access to Adobe applications. Each Teach Meet session involves a choice of online practical workshops, both for teachers who are new to Adobe and those who are experienced users. Each workshop is led by an Adobe education leader who is a practicing classroom, primary, secondary or higher education teacher, or they're led by members of the Adobe education team. All of these leaders are passionate about enhancing students' digital literacy, communication,
and creativity skills. Each TeachMeet session will run for 2 consecutive afternoon evenings twice a term throughout 2022, starting at 4 p.m. Melbourne, Sydney time. The sessions are not recorded. They are live workshops with links to key practical resources and how-to guides for follow-up. Registration in advance is required. Any teacher who has access to Adobe tools will benefit from the Adobe TeachMeets program. So look up adobe.ly/teachmeets or scan this QR code to find out more and register for the sessions you would like to attend. Let all your colleagues know about this free online and creative professional learning opportunity from Adobe. Erin, we're running very low on time, so can you tell us very quickly what is happening at our TeachMeets program next week?
No worries. Well, next Wednesday we have the following workshop breakout room options. I'll be running an intro to Creative Cloud Express. Kev Lavery will be doing Premiere Rush as a workshop. Steve Nichols will provide a Photoshop workshop, and Michael Turner will do a workshop on Adobe Acrobat. And then on Thursday, the 17th of February, I'll be offering another intro workshop to Creative Cloud Express. Steve Nichols will do a workshop on Photoshop Express. Try saying that 10 times fast. Shaloni Niak will do a workshop on Adobe Illustrator. Craig Delmeyer Power will lead a workshop on Adobe InDesign. And Brett Kent will run a workshop session on Lightroom.
Well, get involved. You can see the link there, adobe.ly/teachmeets. Register and let your colleagues know about it.
You're watching Inject Creativity Live with Tim Kitchen and Erin Raithke.
We do have a couple of special announcements for New South Wales and Victorian teachers about some opportunities for students this year.
Adobe is running a series of Adobe Creativity Challenges for New South Wales and Victorian students in years 5 to 9.
Adobe Creativity Challenges are all about students working with a team to design and share a digital solution based on a brief from an organisation or a global problem.
Find out more via adobe.ly/challenges-YR5T09. That's year 5 to 9. The digital solutions are made with Adobe's amazing creativity tools and are usually a short video, a mobile app design, or a web page. This is a great way for students to learn Adobe tools and develop a range of important collaboration, digital literacy, communication, problem solving, and creativity skills.
Victorian and New South Wales students in years 9 to 12, as well as any teacher from anywhere, are invited to register for a special 2.5-day Adobe Premiere Pro workshop during the Easter holidays.
This is a great opportunity to spend quality time learning a great industry standard application.
This is a free and online intensive workshop that also involves some prizes for some lucky students. Where will they look up? They'll look up adobe.ly/video-workshop22 to find out more about the Adobe Holiday Video Challenge. And I'll be running this course, and I'm looking forward to working with a number of students like we did last year. I was really inspired with what they achieved.
We hope you're enjoying this episode of Inject Creativity Live with Tim Kitchen and Erin Raithke.
If you're on Facebook and you're not already a member of the Australasian Adobe Education Community Facebook group, please join via facebook.com/groups/AUSAEL.
This is a great way to keep regularly involved with Adobe in education and the wider community.
Let's bring up our guests again to say farewell and to thank them. Let's bring them all up there, including yourself, Jerry. Although Jerry's got someone in the background. Oh, no, there we go. They just got out of the screen just in time. There we go. So our next Inject Creativity Live event will be on Wednesday, the 23rd of February. In fact, I'll get you to share your screen there, Jerry, just so we can promote this one.
Thanks, Jerry. Craig Delmeyer Powell from TAFE New South Wales will be our AEL presenter, and Michelle Dennis from Haileybury College in Melbourne will be our thought leader.
For those watching the recording of this episode, join us live if you can in the future. It's always much more fun and interactive when you are live. And it was interesting looking at the chat and all the conversations that were happening in the background.
For those watching live, please get ready to move to adobe.ly/edu-meet-APAC for our brief fireside chat, and we will see you all at the next episode.
And Jerry, I'll get you to get rid of that banner because that's got the old link, not the current link there. So we'll get
I'll pop the new link into the chat for all of our viewers live right now.
That'll be good because it's irrelevant to everyone else. Special thank you to Jerry and Erin for helping to put this show together.
And a very special thank you to Jason Lane and Chris Betcher for their contributions to this episode.
Any final words
Thank you.
of parting wisdom from our guests?
Go forth and be creative.
Love it.
Do your homework.
Really?
You win.
Have a great night, everyone.
Really appreciate your time, folks. And we've got Rob the Robot who's going to sign off for us with a brand new ending to the show. All the best. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Cheers.
Thank you for watching this episode of Inject Creativity Live. For those who are watching live, join us now via adobe.ly/edu-meet-APAC for an informal, non-recorded fireside chat to meet and interact with our presenters and other audience members. During this informal chat, you will be able to complete the feedback form and apply for a professional development certificate. If you are not watching this live, join us live next time. Use this QR code or link to find out about dates and topics. And use this QR code and link to find out about other Adobe in Education professional learning opportunities. On behalf of the Adobe in Education team, keep being creative.